Hi, Ben. I'm Neil. I study CS at Stanford. I am a huge fan of yours. I watch you on YouTube all the time. I do lean left, however, so I disagree with you on some issues.
First of all, okay, quick, can we have a show of hands? People who are liberal to left in the audience, people who disagree with what I say, can you raise your hands, please? Thank you for coming. Like really, it makes the country better that you come to this, and we should go to your lectures too, it's good. I mean, we do, they're called the professors.
So my question is about abortion. That's the issue that I disagree on. You make a very good argument, and I'm gonna run with this notion that life starts at conception.
Okay.
In Freakonomics, Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner, they talk about how the people who get abortions are the people who need abortions because they can't afford to raise a child, and children who grow up in households that don't have the resources to raise them disproportionately become violent criminals and end up murdering people. So my question is, why do you prefer the life of the unborn fetus over the lives of existing individuals?
Okay, so a couple of answers on this. First, I think there are serious challenges to the Levitt thesis that the crime rate, so the basic thesis of Stephen Levitt in Freakonomics is that the crime rate drop is associated with the advent of Roe versus Wade. That Roe versus Wade happened, millions of babies got aborted, and then those babies that were aborted couldn't commit crimes, and so the crime rate dropped. The problem is the timeline doesn't actually match up. The crime rates didn't begin to drop until 1994. Roe versus Wade happens in 1973. The vast majority of violent crime, or at least a huge plurality of violent crime, is happening for kids who are actually born, who are actually between the ages of 15 and like 23. So what you would have expected is that there would have been a massive crime rate drop in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, not a crime rate drop in 1994. The reason you got a crime rate drop in 1994 was additional resources provided by the federal government and the states to policing. So putting aside the statistical argument, now to the moral argument. So the moral argument is that the probability that, or possibility that somebody's gonna grow up to be a killer means that they are putting some quotient of life at risk. The problem is that you cannot kill somebody based on a probability. You wouldn't do this in any form of life, right? We can't have a Tom Cruise Minority Report approach to children or to criminals in real life, right? There's a big room. I'm sure somebody at this point in this room will commit a crime. That crime may be serious. That doesn't mean that if I just killed everyone in the room, I've now prohibited the crime. Or if I killed the one person in the room who I think is most likely to commit the crime, it's not you, don't worry, that if I killed that one person, that would be okay. Because again, I'm making a forejudgment about behavior that has not yet occurred. So it is true that a lot of people who have abortions are poor. It is true that a lot of people who have abortions may not have great resources to raise the child. The solution to that is not to kill the child in order to prevent possible future crime. The solution is that people should be having babies more responsibly, and that local communities, particularly religious communities, should step in and help out when single moms need help. And by the way, that does happen a lot, right? And that's something that should be happening in increasing numbers. It's also why the government should stop incentivizing single motherhood by cutting checks and playing dad.